Hey, good morning, class. Welcome in. We are about to have our second discussion on this business unit. We had a great discussion. Our first discussion, which kind of reflected business organizations, how businesses operate. You take a look at what makes a good business, what makes a good boss, and at the same time, what makes bad bosses and bad businesses. And we also kind of took a look at that pyramid to success. Rather lengthy lecture discussion. Today might be the shortest discussion of the year as we take a look at sole proprietorships and partnerships. So we're going to dive into this. This is part two of our look at business. Now, the most common form of a business organization is a sole proprietorship. This is a business owned by one person. So a proprietor is the owner of a business. Okay, so this is where we see a lot of small business owners running the show by themselves. Okay, having the ability to set and control all the rules and operations is an advantage. However, these are usually time consuming and highly demanding. So, what do I mean by this? So, the trade off is yes, you have complete creative control. You've got the ability to set your own hours. You've got the ability to hire and fire. You can do whatever you need to do. However, it is a high stress job. It is a pressure cooker, man. You are in there. It is not easy. The day to day is incredibly difficult. So it is hard being on your own. So again, some financial advantages and disadvantages with this. If a business thrives, the owner receives all the profits. If it does poorly, the owner can suffer substantial financial loss. So remember, all that risk that's involved, if you take the step and that leap to be your own business owner, you could make a ton of money, but at the same time, if things don't work out and things fail, you on your own, you can lose a ton of money. Sole proprietors, they will pay low on taxes, but do not have to face, they do have to face unlimited liability. So they do have to face unlimited liability. Unlimited liability is the complete legal responsibility for any damages or debts. So as that sole proprietor, if all of a sudden I have a restaurant and there is a burger and that burger leads to food poisoning directly, it's undercooked, it's underprepared, all of a sudden that unlimited liability falls on the sole proprietor. It falls on the owner. They could be facing a lawsuit. Okay? Now, assets with sole proprietors, assets are all the items of value that a business holds legal claim to. So when you have that business on your own, what you personally have a legal claim to, those are considered to be assets. Okay? Now, partnerships. A partnership is a business that two or more individuals own and operate. These are efficient because each owner can focus their skills on their area of expertise. So you may have one person that is more of the creative mind. You have maybe one person that is more of the business mind. Okay? Now, taxes are typically low because owners only pay income tax on their share of the profits. However, work productivity can be stagnant and disagreements may often occur. So yeah, it might be great. You start that partnership. You're like, we've got this great business idea. We're going to go in together. You go in. First couple months go well, and all of a sudden you hit a roadblock, and maybe those visions are different, and you see things differently, and that leads to disagreements. It leads to problems, and so not every partnership is going to be perfect. Okay, a lot of good intentions have unfortunately led to some major problems down the road. You take a look at Facebook. There's a great film called The Social Network, which talks about essentially Mark Zuckerberg betraying those that were originally with him on the project. And there's where you saw a lot of lawsuits and a lot of money and a lot of resentment and some awful, nasty things. So The Social Network does a really good job portraying kind of the origins of Facebook and how you see a ton of unraveling with that partnership. Okay? Now, there are also what we call specialized partnerships. And believe it or not, this is the last slide. In a limited partnership, not all partners are equal. A general partner assumes all management tasks and is responsible for any debts. The other partners are considered limited. They only contribute funds or property to the business. So they're limited, they're not necessarily associated. The general partner is going to take on the majority of the tasks and incur any of those debts. We also have what we call LLCs, or limited liability companies. These are companies in which members do not lose personal wealth if a company falters. They are taxed like partnerships. So people will jump on LLCs all the time. They will consider themselves a member. But if the company falls apart, It's not going to affect them financially. And lastly, we see what we call a joint venture. So a joint venture is a temporary partnership that is usually done to accomplish a short-term task. When the task is completed, the joint venture ends. So a very common example of this would be an example that reflects our real estate investors. You're investing in real estate, you work on that property or that building, and then all of a sudden after that, the joint venture concludes and that temporary partnership ends. Okay, so these are what we call specialized partnerships. Like I said, super short, about 5.5 minutes. There's going to be a journal log that's going to reflect some of these questions, and we are going to continue working through our projects. All right, great seeing everybody. Take care of yourselves and have a great day. Thanks, everybody.